Welcome to another South in preview, and of course joining me as usual here on Thursday evening, of course, is the one and only Mr. Steve Whitney. And Steve, it's Easter coming up. It's going to be a very, very interesting couple of games over the Easter bank holiday. And as you've always said to me, you know, it's one of those things where promotions, relegations all get decided. And of course, also with the FA announcement this week as well about different bits and bobs going on with the relegation steps 4 to 5. It's going to be a very, very exciting afternoon.
Yeah, well, and with Easter, I think I'm right in saying that Easter's a bit later this year, isn't it, than it has been. And so this bank holiday, Saturday and Sunday, probably takes on even more significance than it perhaps has done in the past. With a lot of clubs having only one more game to play after this weekend. We'll start off in the Premier Division Central, shall we?
Yeah, go.
We already know where the Championship flag is to fly at the end of the season, and of course that's at Banbury United. And we had the pleasure of doing a My Life in Football with their manager Andy Wing, and very entertaining session that was. And his title winners make the journey to relegation-threatened Hitchin Town's top field on Saturday. And the Canaries are currently sitting just a point above that third from bottom playoff spot, but possess a 6-point cushion on second from bottom neighbours Biggleswade Town. Then on Monday, Banbury will have the Championship trophy and their medals presented by League Chairman Terry Barrett and President Keith Allen ahead of their game at the Plant Hire Community Stadium against playoff chasing Alvechurch. So although the Puritans only have pride and the possibility of achieving 100 points for the season left to play for, they will still have a massive part to play in the situation at either end of the table over Easter. And on Monday, Hitchin have another extremely tough assignment when they travel to the B Arena to take on second place Peterborough Sports. Jimmy Dean's side are assured of a playoff spot at least and are currently 2 points above third placed Coalville Town and will want to stay there to be at home in the playoffs. That game for the Turbines comes 48 hours after visiting mid-table Stourbridge, who were beaten by bottom side lowest off Town on Tuesday. Coalville's attempts to finish runners-up sees them travel to Suffolk on Saturday to take on an Eden Market side who have headed to the beach, it seems, although they did make it through to their County Cup final on Tuesday evening. The Ravens then have a crucial game at the Manda Cruikshank Solicitors Stadium against current fourth place side Rushall Olympic. 6 points separate the teams as it stands, but the Picts are at home to mid-table Royston Town on Saturday. AFC Rusden Diamonds are the team currently holding that final playoff spot, and they host a still not safe Bromsgrove Sporting side on Saturday before visiting St Ives Town, who also require a point or two to be safe on Easter Monday. Andy Burgess's Diamond side hold a 3-point advantage over sixth place Alvechurch, who of course faced Banbury on Monday, having played relegation battle as lowest off on the Saturday. St Ives are 2 points above Barwell, heading into the Easter period, and have a tricky trip to the Arden Garages Stadium to play mid-table Stratford Town before they welcome Diamonds to Westwood Road. Biggleswade Town have a game in hand on all around them, and maybe crucially 2 on Barwell. They take on 10th place Hensford Town on Saturday, and then make the short trip to neighbours Royston Town on Easter Monday, and no doubt the Crows won't want to do them any favours. Nuneaton Borough are also in need of holiday points. They journey across to Suffolk Coast to take on 7th place Leiston on Saturday, and then have a real crunch 6-pointer at Liberty Way against Barwell. And on Easter weekend, that says all games having something riding on the result, at least on Saturday anyway. Town will take on Redditch United at home, with the Lambs probably already safe, but the Reds need a win or two just as they head into the game, just 3 points in front of Barwell. Matt Clark's side then have a derby with Stourbridge on Bank Holiday Monday at the Trico Stadium, while the Lambs are at Hensford.
I mean, Easter, literally look at that. Easter could see promotion relegation picture much clearer sort of by Monday night in all of the leagues. But, it's going to be very, very interesting in the league we're about to discuss next. And it's very, very tight, isn't it?
Premier Division South it is horrendously tight. Taunton Town hold a 3-point advantage over Hayes and Yeading United, and 6 of Farnborough, who have a game in hand on the 2 teams above them. So it's really going to be tight. And the Peacocks and Hayes and Yeading both nervously sit it out on Saturday before knowing what their situation is on Monday. Taunton then make the short trip down the M5 to Tiverton Town on Easter Monday, while Paul Hughes' Hayes side hosts 6th place Chesham United, who could also be in the top 5 by then if they beat Gosport Borough at the Meadow on Saturday. Farnborough have a busier Easter, journeying to Silver Jubilee Stadium on Saturday to take on Hendon, and then they welcome Hampshire rivals Hartley Whitney at the easy as HGV Stadium on Monday. Metropolitan Police, who are assured of a top 5 finish, saw their title hopes disappear when they were beaten 2-1 at home by Taunton last weekend. And they too have to wait until Monday for action, when they have Beaconsfield Town visiting Imber Court. Weston-super-Mare and outsiders Truro City chase the final playoff spot. And if the White Tigers see off Hartley Whitney on Saturday, whilst the Seagulls are inactive, Monday's game at Bolitho Park, when the pair meet, could be a real cracker and determine the destination of that final top 5 spot. At the other end of the table, Merthyr Town's fate could be finally sealed if they fail to win at Holloway's Park against Beaconsfield on Saturday. But if the Martyrs win, and Kings Langley, who hold that 3rd from bottom spot, fail to get anything from their tricky trip to Yate Town, then Monday's game at home to Swindon Supermarine will still have Welsh fans hoping that Hendon can do them a favour when they visit Kings Langley. So all eyes will be on the relative result update feeds on that day.
Well, we know one man's eyes will be on that.
Well, yeah, Anthony Hughes has been firmly glued to that. Wimborne Town are already down, of course, and they wind down their Premier Division campaign with a visit to the Webbswood Stadium to play Supermarine on Saturday. And then their loyal fans can cheer them on their final home game at New Cuthbury when they face local rivals Paul Town 48 hours later. Dorchester Town are the only other side who could find themselves in danger if Kings Langley's results are positive. And the Magpies enjoyed a massive win at home to Hendon last weekend and are 6 points clear of Kings with 9 points left to play for. Saturday sees the Dorset side face a big derby at the Raymack against Salisbury. And then on Monday, Yate travel down to the Avenue Stadium.
I mean, it's going to be a tough at the top. I mean, it's going to be tough for Merthyr to get out of that situation. It's really is going to be like, throw a dice and see who's going to finish in that top 5. It's couldn't ask for much more excitement than that Premier Division. It's going to be phenomenal. But then again, going into Division 1 Central this weekend as well. Bedford, have still got, I think if I'm right in saying from what he was saying, I think it's 4 games, one that might be decided elsewhere, and then sort of 3 games they've still got to play. And them and sort of Berkhamsted have almost got the same sort of teams to play in the final 3 fixtures. It's going to be very, very interesting. Where, of course, we've got a say in what's going on in the playoffs alongside Welling Garden City and, of course, St Neots as well. And there's sort of, 4 or 5 in the chance of getting promotion there. But Division 1 Central, going to be an interesting weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Bedford, again, we spoke to their manager, Gary Setchell, in one of our interviews, and that was a fascinating insight. They faced county rivals AFC Dunstable on Saturday, so that'd be a derby game that won't be easy. And they hold a 5-point lead over second place Berkhamsted, as you say. The ODs, which is AFC Dunstable's nickname, they're also wanting points to stay in 3rd spot and have home advantage in the playoffs. So a big crowd is anticipated at the Erie on Saturday, with AFC having Tame United at home on Monday. Also on Monday, Gary Settle's Eagles make the tricky trip to the Premier Plus Stadium to take on the young St Neots Town side, who are unbeaten in 5 and face Kidlington 48 hours earlier. Berkhamsted will keep going until the end as they welcome 7th placed Harlow Town to Broadwater on Saturday, and then face Aylesbury United at the Meadow on Easter Monday. The other top 5 spot between Welwyn Garden City, Ware, and outsiders North Lee. The latter's hopes took a real nosedive last weekend when they were shocked by a still not safe Hertford Town at Ancient Park, the Blues winning 3-0. Mid-table FC Romania host the Millers on Saturday, and then neighbours Didcot Town are the visitors to Ancient Park on Easter Monday. Welwyn Garden City have a derby at Hertford on Saturday, and know that Ben Hurd's young side are capable of beating anyone on their day, as North Lee found to their cost last Saturday. Nick Ironton citizens then have Barton Rovers heading to Hearns Way on Monday. Ware are at Tame on Saturday, and then 48 hours later host already relegated neighbours Colney Heath at Watson Park. Paul House's side hold a 3-point cushion on 6th place North Lee heading into the Easter period. And depending on the outcome of the hearing regarding Kidlington's abandoned game with Bedford, they still need points over the holiday period as they welcome St Neots to Yarnton Road on Saturday, and then face already doomed neighbours Wantage Town on Monday. But the Freds could still have a big say who finishes in that third from bottom spot, as before they face Kidlington, they have the team currently occupying that very spot, Kempston Rovers, visiting Alfredian Park. Hertford, the only other side still in danger, face Waltham Abbey at Capershots on Easter Monday after playing Welwyn Garden City 48 hours earlier.
And that's going to be not much of a travel for Hertford. They've pulled off a good one there with Waltham Abbey and Welwyn, but it's going to be difficult because with the news of this sort of, and you may say to me completely different, but with the news from the FA this week that Ollie Bayliss sort of dropped as well, that it's more confusing now who's going down, who's going to play who's not going to go down. People have been reprieved. People have, for the time being. Other people think they're going promoted and haven't been promoted. And it just seems like a complete mess this close to the end of the season.
It's horrible. And it's obviously worse for the clubs themselves because they're in limbo. They don't know what's happening. But it's also not an easy thing when you have to write about it because you don't know whether teams are going to be in that position they're in when the table finishes next Saturday evening, week on Saturday evening, shall I say, when most all the games are finished. We'll say such and such is in a playoff spot, such and such is in a relegation spot. Well, are they? Or have they been? Will they be? It's a horrible situation, and really, it's the clubs I feel sorry for, though, and their fans, obviously.
Best of luck to everybody involved in the 3 leagues, Northern, Southern, and Eastern. And they've got to try and deal with all of that with all the Step 5 teams underneath, and it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. But I mean, the Easter weekend again, of course, as well, it's going to be a massive for the top 3 in the Division 1 South, who still all have a chance of claiming the title. And of course, one of my favourite sounding teams and lovely people they are as well. Plymouth Parkway are right in the middle of it. Yeah,
they currently lead the way after Tuesday's win at home against Highworth Town. Lee Hobbs' side were faced with a big backlog of games, which many thought might be too much for them. But they head into Easter having lost just once in 14 games, that being against fellow contenders Cirencester Town. Saturday sees Parkway at home to a Mangotsfield United side who won 2-0 at Larkhall Athletic on Wednesday night to keep their slim hopes of staying up alive. However, if they fail to win at Parkway, the Mangoes will join Barnstaple Town in finishing in the bottom 2. Indeed, it's to Barnstaple that Parkway head on Easter Monday. And there's no doubt that they'll get no favours from their Devon rivals. Frome are currently second, and they face 2 teams over Easter who have little to play for apart from pride, but often they can be awkward opponents. Danny Greaves' side travelled to Slimbridge on Saturday and 48 hours later welcomed Poulton Rovers to Badgers Hill. Cirencester are a point behind Frome, but have the momentum of Beaton Parkway last time out. They head to North Devon on Saturday and battle the holiday traffic heading to Bideford, and then have 10th place Highworth Town visiting the Corinium Stadium on Monday. Bristol Manor Farm are fourth, but only have 2 games left, and they will be looking to finish second or third to have home advantage in the playoffs. Larkhall Athletic are the visitors to the Creek on Saturday, and Lee Lashenko's side will then know what they have to do on the final day of the season when current 5th place Winchester City head to Bristol. The Citizens are a point behind Manor Farm and 3 ahead of 6th place AFC Tottenham, and face 2 teams still in need of points at the other end of the table over Easter, in Evesham United away and then Lymington Town at home. The Stags returned to winning ways with a 1-0 success against Evesham last weekend and head to Highworth on Saturday, and then have the big local derby with Sholing at Snow Stadium on Bank Holiday Monday. Apart from the other automatic relegation spot, with Mansfield hoping they still have something to play for in their home game with Slimbridge on Monday, who finishes in that dreaded third from bottom playoff spot sees a 6-pointer on Saturday when the current incumbent Cinderford Town travel to the New Forest to play another contender, Lymington, and then face a local derby with Evesham on Easter Monday at the Causeway Ground.
So, Steve, I mean, we come to an end of another preview, but I mean, who if you was able to go and see a game at the weekend, I mean, what would you say is your game of the weekend that you would like to go and see?
That's a tricky one, because I normally pick out a game of the day in each division. But when I went through the games this over Easter, there's very few that you would class as being with nothing on it, or with little other than pride riding on it. So it's a very difficult one to pin a game down. Probably, I think Taunton against Tiverton. I think because there's a big feeling around that area. I lived in that area for a number of years, so I know how big the support is for Taunton. There'll be a big crowd at Tiverton that day. So to me, that would be one I'd love to go to. They're 2 well-supported sides, and although Tiverton haven't got a huge amount to play for, they won't want to see Tiverton win the league.
And I'll be honest with you, I only wish it was last weekend when I was down in Taunton, so I could actually get to see it, and everybody was away. But there we go, these things are. In all fairness, that's probably the one that I picked out as well, Taunton, Tiverton. I thought that was probably going to be a cracker. But me and Steve, we'll be back next week with the final week of the season, and we'll have a preview on the final week of the season. Again, we wish every team over the Easter period all the very, very best in their games. Hopefully they get the points that they need over the weekend. And of course, for me and Steve also as well, of course, have a lovely, lovely Easter. We'll be back next week. Please don't forget our My Life in Football and subscribing to the YouTube channel. We've got people, as Steve had already said, we've got Mark Halsey, who we've just recorded a show with. He's on there as well, ex-Premier League, and as he reminded me, gave me a yellow card, FIFA referee as well. Amongst those that we've done, Andrew Wing, of course, as well from Banbury, Mark Morsley from Needham Market, Leaston manager, and AFC Sudbury manager as well, and plenty of others. And if you've got somebody in your club that you'd like to see us do a show with, please make sure you contact me or Steve, and we will get them on the show, because we love to hear their stories. Supporters, it could be somebody from behind your burger bar. It could be one of your directors. It could be an ex-player. It could be an ex-manager. We're not worried. We just want to hear their story so that you can hear their stories too. So if you've got anybody, please make sure you contact us. But from me and Steve, for the time being, we'll be back next week. Have a lovely Easter, and we'll see you soon.